Emotions. We all deal with them, right? According to somatic therapy, if we have emotions that are not addressed, they can create subconscious holding patterns. They can put us into a state of fight or flight, and due to the world that we live in, this fight or flight may be consistently running in the background. Very similar to your phone when you have many different tabs open without even realizing it. I know we've all been there when we've gone through our phone. You're like, I'd like to save a little battery. You go through all of the tabs that you have open. I know for myself, I'm like, oh, sorry, phone. Same thing goes for us when it comes to emotions. We could have a certain set of emotions running in the background, which create an addictive habit and thought addictive, not only like a habit to these emotions, but because the fight or flight creates a cortisol spike, that's what we become addicted to. So I believe that a lot of us have reactions and make decisions based off of these addictive habits to specific emotions. And what emotions you are addicted to varies from person to person. And the degree in which they affect somebody will vary as well. This depends on a number of different factors. I'm not going to get into that here because I don't want to overwhelm you. Definitely we'll talk about all of that in some upcoming videos because there is a lot to unpack here. But let's just talk about emotions. Because when you start shutting off those tabs, you have greater energy reserves. And when it comes to somatic therapy, when your body cannot process an emotion, it will freeze itself in a holding pattern. And when you address that holding pattern, it then allows the North Pole and the South Pole points that are created. Polarity is essentially 2 points, opposite points, poles, that create a holding pattern in your body. And these are created around specific emotions, and they can also be created around different areas of stress. Emotion is one type of stress. There's also environmental, and then there is physical stress. But what I have found that emotional stress intertwines in all of it. So in addressing the emotional stress patterns and healing these stress patterns in the energy system or the physical system in which they lie will allow you to fully take ownership of that emotion, work through it, and work through the experience that is tied to that freeze response so you can be free of it, so you can actually regulate your nervous system, and so you can get your energy back. You can get your nervous system back on track, you can get your energy back on track, and you can get more centered than ever. And for some of you, this may be a completely foreign experience. I know it was for myself. I've been running on fight or flight since day one. And that's because for a number of different reasons. And I'm not going to go into the full detail about myself in this video. I'm sure there are other ones where I'll talk about it, but this isn't it. But I want to talk about the importance of emotions because there are different ways to experience emotions. It's through ourselves, through the environments we're in and the people we surround ourselves, and collective thought forms. Now, I want to start from the furthest expression of emotions. That is collective thought forms. These are emotions that have been experienced since the dawn of man, since man had cognitive thinking and they had free will, start gearing up and moving, and they could make choices that were based on emotions. And I know and for myself, I'm Christian and I'm also a shaman. And I always view back to the text that they say man was given domain over, the animals and plants. And to me, this was basically showing our free will and a choice to choose between the reptilian brain and the more enlightened cognizant brain. And while a lot of us, and this may be harsh, like to think that we aren't acting out of a reptilian brain, I'd like to beg to differ. And I was one of them. And it wasn't until I started depolarizing the stress that these emotions created was I truly able to ground myself. Was I able to center? Was I able to heal from things that had been playing in the background for quite some time? And was I fully able to take ownership of my emotions? I was able to know what was mine, what was somebody else's, so I could really discern. I could also detach with greater ease, and detachment is one of those trigger happy words that a lot of coaches like to talk about but never want to tell you how to actually work through it. I see a lot of people trying to force their way through it, but the fact of the matter is you want to address the holding patterns of stress that are created by emotions in either the collective thought form, which is the web of collective consciousness that we're all tapped into. It's that hive mind effect. And you have to think how strong some of these emotions and these inclinations probably are at this stage in the game. We may seem like we are, an eradicated society free from our animalistic nature, but really, has it taken on just a different form? Have we gotten better at hiding it? And have we gotten better at transferring, dare I say, violent tendencies into our words? Because we can't physically make those actions anymore. I don't know. I'm placing this out there as a question. Because what I have seen is those collective thought forms can really make you make decisions without you even realizing it. And this is, a lot of people talk about programming, and I know in our modern society, you can learn about this readily through the psychology of selling, the art of war, and also marketing, all of this, and how people use psychology to manipulate people. And you have to understand that these thought forms, since they've been around since the dawn of time, emotions like greed, coveting, victimhood, vindictiveness, all of these things are very primal instincts to the human conditioning. And until you learn how to own your feelings and work through them, you will never fully be able to detach from that collective consciousnness. But the first thing you have to do is actually detach from the collective consciousness to be able to see, is this mine? Is this a program that that's been running in the background? So getting clear on, what collective thought forms are. They're emotions that have been experienced since the dawn of time through human experience and through the energetic compounding of generation upon generation. These emotions have gained greater energy and greater propensity to control us. And collective thought forms run into the second one, which is other people's emotions. Now, if people are everyone has their own experience, everyone has their own life they're living, their own path, and everyone's going to have a different way of experiencing every emotion, of dealing with every emotion. And it's the beautiful thing about humanity. Diversity reminds me of the gut microbiome. The more diversity within the microbiome and the bacteria that you have, the greater health. Humanity, to me, mirrors that. The more diversity we have within not only our cultures, but our ways of thinking, our way of being, and the amount of diversity that we allow in our life and are open to will really drive the fruitfulness of our experience. So when it comes to other people's emotions, if they haven't done their healing, they may be really tapped into that collective conscious thinking, which for a lot of us is based in fear. That's what I've experienced. But I love that our society is starting to come into a greater contact with love. And you're seeing that ripple out through the collective at this time. And it's really encouraging. And that's why I believe it's important to do your own healing work and work through your own emotions. Because when you heal the polarity points within your emotions and you work through those somatic holding patterns that are taking from your energy, you not only are able to know, is this my emotion or is it someone I'm around? Is it due to the environment? Is it due to certain people that I'm in a relationship with? Or is it simply, is there something going on within the collective that I'm being magnetized into? And an example of this would be if you're at a riot and you get all angry and pumped up. It's kind of that same thing. You're just in that vicinity, so you're picking up on that energy, and so you're more likely to subconsciously agree with it or possibly run from it. That's probably a really terrible example, so I'm going to give you one better. When I lived in LA, I started observing collective thought forms very readily because I grew up in a small town my whole life. And when I lived in LA, I will never forget, I was driving home. I was feeling, and I worked in Santa Monica, and at this time I was driving back to Burbank. Woof. Woof. If you know, you know. But I will never forget, all out of nowhere, I just started feeling really angry, and I didn't know what was going on. And I was like, is it because I'm in traffic? Well, I've been in traffic before, but I haven't gotten angry. Why am I reacting like this? And I looked and I realized that it was 3 days before Mercury retrograde. And what Mercury retrograde does to us energetically is it switches from almost a masculine energy to a feminine energy. And we actually have these switches every single day. Your nostril breathing transfers every 2 to 3 hours, and that switches masculine dominant thinking to feminine dominant thinking. So Mercury retrograde is basically like the nasal passage shift of the collective. But because we've been so deeply ingrained at this point in masculine ways of being, thinking, and just pursuing our lives, a lot of people, and because they're unaware of the energies around them, people will fight it. So there's a lot of aggression because it's creating a natural friction because you're switching again from one energy to another. And I observed this for over 2 years, and every single time, 3 days before Mercury retrograde started and 3 days after that, it was wild to see how some people were either moving really slowly or some people were moving really too quickly, trying to force things to happen. And that's why a lot of accidents happen. Like, I can't tell you every single time Mercury retrograde about to have, like when I lived in LA and in Miami, the sirens. I stopped going out because I just couldn't trust people on the road. And I was so blessed to have a job by the time I lived in Miami where I could make my own schedule. But I know some of us can't. So that's just an example of how people, when they're subconscious, will act out in ways that are adhering to collective programmings. And collective programmings have been brought about due to society. And our society has gone through many different shifts. And I believe right now at this time we are going through another shift thanks to the rise of technology and the expansion of our knowledge. And this is a beautiful time to really take ownership of what is yours. It's a way to learn what isn't yours. Is it somebody else's? Is this what I need to deal with? Because what I found on my healing journey was a lot of the emotions that I had felt, experienced, were not mine. They were transferred into me. To be honest, it was very violating feeling, to be honest. And when I started doing my energy healing work, really committing to it, and when I took it a step further and created these energy healing courses that are available to you, what I found was I was able to heal my stuff, take ownership of it, and I could see where these emotions were coming from, where they stemmed from, and how I could shift them. Because if it was a collective emotion, I could then be more conscious of what was going on within the world. What did I need to do to protect myself? What did I need to do to help me know when to take a step back from the collective? And what I mean by this is there's certain times throughout the year I won't go on the internet. There are certain times where of the month I won't get on my phone. There are certain times where I'm like, this is my sacred recovery time and I can't be connected into the collective because there's something triggering everybody and I can feel it, and this isn't mine. But it's also an invitation to find out what is, because if you're someone who is triggered by the world around you, that simply is an invitation to do your work. Because if you are triggered by something, it means it's activating a polarized point within you, and something is the opposite. So what happens is when you address the polarity in yourself, you realize what is creating that reactivity, and then it allows you to neutralize it find a way to compromise with it and or how to navigate moving forward so you aren't reactive. Again, you're taking ownership of yourself. But until you understand and are able to differentiate between your emotions, other people's emotions, and collective emotions, you're kind of caught in a losing battle and you're going to just come in last every single time. I know I did. It's not our work to do someone else's healing. And that's something that I've had to learn, to not take on emotions, because when you are in close proximity to other people, you can transfer emotions between each other. And this actually can tie into the chakras. And in a different video, I'm going to go into depth around how people connect their chakras, what I've experienced, and why this can really affect the relationships that you choose, why you may subconsciously choose them, and what you can do to gain greater autonomy and be allowed to be in relationships from a freer state of being rather than a subconscious subservient programming that may have never been yours. So it's really crucial to understand that emotions, when stagnant, create polarity points. And these polarity points can be held in different energy systems of the body. The first energy system that comes into contact with the world and that connects into our body and extends out is the auric layer. This is where we hold the collective consciousness. This is where we hold our contracts, past lives, if you believe in that, or also generational trauma. And if you have woundings in these areas, what it will do is it'll create more polarized reactions that you experience in this life, a higher propensity towards feeling emotions, being affected by emotions. And in healing that auric layer, what you're doing is it's like a net. If you're going camping and you have a mosquito net that has a bunch of holes in it, you're just gonna have a terrible night's sleep. If you actually have a good net, you're not gonna be affected by the mosquitoes out and about. And very similar to the energy system or just the collective consciousness, there's a lot of mosquitoes out there. You want to have your sacred space. You want to make sure your net lining, everything is good. Because if it's not, stuff is going to get in. Very similar to your auric layer. If you have holes, which can be created by past lives, generational trauma, collective woundings that you have, and collective contracts that you've come in to heal. Collective contracts could be anywhere from other starseeds. I know that for some might be a stretch. They could be for different social groups. It could be between your family, and it could be between specific relationships. And so, and the whole purpose of healing this stuff is to help you evolve. So when you work through that and you heal it, what you're doing is you're creating a greater shield to start working in on the more physical layers of the body. Because when you're protected, you're not having stuff coming in. Just envision you have to dig a hole, and you go in, you dig 2 feet, and you need to get down to 6. So you leave, you're done, 2 feet, we're almost there. But you come back the next day and someone has shoveled in dirt. Essentially, that's what happens when you are around people. They are shoveling stuff on you. And if you don't have a good energetic protection, you will be taking and getting shit schlepped on you left and right. And I've experienced that. And it's frustrating because you've done the work, you're doing the work, and it feels like you're not getting anywhere. So it's important to heal that first auric layer, and then you work into the chakras. And if you're new, chakra centers are different energy systems or wheels that help our chi or life force to function. And depending on who you have learned from or what you believe in, it's said that there are 7 major chakras, and they have found that these align with plexuses, nerve bundles in the body, which I found to be very, very interesting. But on my journey, what I found is there are actually 2 systems. There's a masculine and a feminine, and they have different energetic systems and placements. And in order to create deeper alignment and depolarize the polarity and the pain between the masculine and feminine, you need to realign those chakras and work through healing both your masculine wounds and your feminine wounds so they can work coherently together. Because these are two channels and they're two different energies. And a lot of people, again, have been taught masculine. And I think a lot of the systems radiate only the masculine chakra system. And what I found on my journey is the feminine is just as crucial, and I think is coming forward to be healed more and more, not just in females, but in men as well. We have both of these energy systems within us, and to take full ownership of our energy, we have to heal and align that. So once you heal your aura, you can come into your chakras. Once the chakras are healed, you can then work in and start healing the meridians. And the meridians are 12 channels that run through the body and are linked to acupuncture points. And each of these meridians tie into an organ system, a season of the year, throughout the year, and they also tie into an emotion. So if your body undergoes any type of stress and isn't healed, this creates blockages within your meridian system. And then if it's not addressed, your system starts to take energy from other parts so it can keep functioning. Your body wants to have homeostasis, and it will achieve it even if it's at your detriment, which is crazy. You won't realize it until you start healing and you're like, oh, I was that out of balance. And so once you heal and align your meridians, you can then start really addressing your physical tension. And that's anywhere from the muscles, joints, ligaments, nervous system. And then the next portion is your pathogens. And all of these can hold emotions, and all of these can hold emotional stress. And depending on where you're at and the depth in which you are being called forward to heal in this lifetime, you may need to address every single one of these systems in the body. I know I did, and that's why I sought to find a system that would address all of these. And I started this journey when I was 18. I'm 37 now, and I finally completed this journey. And I actually created courses because I wanted to help people heal. I wanted people to have something that was tangible and would really allow them to step into the role of being their own healer. They wouldn't be dependent on anybody else. This was truly them working on themselves. Because I also found on our journey, it's crucial that we learn to trust our body, and our body has so much to tell us, but we aren't taught how to connect into the body. And it's through the somatic experiencing that we can. And this somatic experiencing is so powerful, and it really allows you to heal in a very tangible way. It provides you with a tool that allows you to depolarize that stress, because when we have those stress points that are caused by emotion, this can allow pathogens to thrive. It can create unhealthy holding patterns in the physical body, which then creates repetition in movement, which can lead to damage of your physical body over time. And it can damage the nervous system. It can lead it into an overdrive of fight or flight, which then leads us into an addiction to emotions, to those chemical reactions that those emotions are happening, which over time can make it harder to change. So in depolarizing the stress of emotions, you then are allotting yourself more space and room to heal. You're allotting your body that space to understand, oh, I'm having a reaction to this fight or flight. This is where it's stored in my body. This is what emotion it's tied to. Is it mine? Is it someone else's? Okay, how do I navigate this? And the one thing I found as a healer is the fact of the matter is usually your healer isn't around when you need it most. You need a tool that you can utilize in the here and now. It's something that you can utilize anywhere, and something that is time efficient as well as cost efficient. And that's what I created because I have been there on my healing journey, and I know not everyone has the capacity to do the work that I've done, but I also believe not everyone was meant to go into the depths that I did to understand these systems, understand this blueprint that was gifted to me. I'm a shaman, so I can tap into this stuff a little more readily, and I've gone through a journey, and I believe I was called forward to create this stuff for a reason. Because as a child, I was just studying emotions ever since I was a child, because I could pick up on frequencies that emotions were emitting, and I had this innate desire to understand it, and understand it I do from definite personal experiences. As I really sought to heal myself when I started to experience early onsets of Parkinson's, it really forced me to stop. And I realized just how much these polarized points that emotions create in our body due to unresolved stress patterns create so much havoc. And until you release those stress points, your body subconsciously will stay in those loops. I was caught in so many loops for so long, and I could see them. And for me, this is why psychology doesn't work. I could talk about it all day long, but I could feel it in my body. Something wasn't being released. And it took me on this deep journey of understanding the different systems of the body, and understanding that you need to clear, at least this was my experience, everybody is different. I needed to clear the outer layers of my energetic system and work inwards. I needed to clear out the collective stuff and the noise and detach from it. I needed to clear out all the traumas that I had brought into this life from generations past. I had to work through clearing it so I could be like, that's theirs, that's not mine to heal, this is mine, this was created out of my choices, how can I take ownership? Because when you heal those traumas that are attached to either a collective or generation or family that isn't yours, it allows you to detach, but it also allows you to heal and then re-enter into those relationships with greater love, with greater ease and greater understanding. And it allows you to come from a place of empathy, because you start to work with emotions rather than be in fear of them. I believe our society demonizes emotions so much that it's naturally created a polarity. And until we depolarize that polarity within ourselves, and for every person it's going to be different, that energy will emit out and create a frequency of disconnection, not just in the relationships we have, but also in what we create, what we experience, what we choose to experience, what we bring in. And it also adds a layer onto the collective that is very dense. So in healing your energetic system and depolarizing the emotions that you have in your body, what you're doing is you're alleviating a layer of energetic density that is tied to these collective emotions. And you're allowing a new frequency to be admitted out into the collective, which for each person that heals their collective, or to every person that does the work to heal their energetic polarities that are within them, birthed from, this life, family, social, collective, and past life, and generations past, you are allowing a new way of thinking to come about and to permeate the collective. So instead of that fear-based mentality, in healing yourself, you're allowing love, forgiveness, and peace to permeate from you, which then permeates out further. And I believe, I don't even know the reaches it goes to. I know people say your energy field only goes 6 feet. I think there's a lot of things we like to justify just to help our linear brain, but I'm like, I think it goes way further than that, like my experience. But I just wanted to talk about emotions because I believe it's crucial. One, because if we have these polarized points that are created by emotions, it's going to create a lot of dis-ease within our body. It also creates an environment that is very hospitable to pathogens. It also creates inflammation in the body. It also creates a lot of physical pain, because if the emotions, let's say, are creating tension in your right shoulder and in your left knee, it's going to throw off your entire body. And until you deal with the emotions, and I saw this all the time with my massages, I'd massage someone and then their muscles would go right back. I know I experienced this too. And I realized when I did this deep tissue work that I had to address the emotions. I had to get into the energetics. So my scoliosis and my Parkinson's led me on this journey of, starting with the physical body, working and doing deep tissue work. I started dabbling with acupuncture, and I started really trying to find an ease for my chronic pain. And as I started to move out of chronic pain, I started to realize if I wanted true lasting results, I had to go into the energetic. The physical body wasn't enough. I believe the physical body is a gateway to the energetic systems that are talked about in many ancient cultures. And for me, I have worked with the auras, chakras, the meridians, and they go in that order, and then they go into the physical body. It's almost like a little triangle. You have the aura, chakras, meridians, physical body, pathogens, which would be cellular. Taking ownership of your body, healing your body is one of the most, being in contact and listening to your body is one of the most honorable things you can do, not just for yourself, but the world around you. Because if you're in pain, you're not going to be your best. But also, if you, like I said, if you heal these emotions, you're emitting a different frequency and you're allowing that connection into that higher self. You're getting above that reptilian brain. You're moving out of it, and you're truly moving into a place where you can truly be a steward to whatever community, society you want to be a part of. You feel drawn to, you feel inspired to do. And I know for myself, having done all these things, it wasn't until I started addressing the emotional aspect and clearing out the polarized pairs from these traumas and these unprocessed emotions. And for me, I've cleared past lives, I've cleared generational traumas, I've cleared traumas from other people in this life. I've worked through navigating being in subconscious collective environments, but also taking ownership of mine, because I'm 37, and even though stuff happened to me, at some point I was in agreement to a lot of this. And I think this is very important, especially as you go through the healing journey, to recognize how, even on a subconscious level, you were agreeing to toxic habits and relationships. And it's definitely a point of frustration. I'm going to share about that more in a different video. But when you depolarize the emotions, not only do you physically feel better and you can start to heal physically, but you start to heal mentally, because you can move through the emotions with greater ease. You also learn to understand, oh, I'm falling into this old pattern. Oh, this emotion I'm feeling, I know this emotion. Is it mine or is it someone else's? Am I being triggered, or do I just need to detach and say that's theirs? And then move on and keep doing what you need to do. Because I know for myself as a woman, a lot of women do this. Codependency, kind of forced on us from society. Yes, neck pop. Is the fact that we had to take emotional ownership for a long time of not just ourselves, family members, especially like the male component. There's just like a lot of things feminine where, it's very honorable, but also it's not helpful. So I've had to learn to detach from that need to be readily available for people. And as a healer, that really confronted me, because I realized that if I stayed in my massage job, not only was I being a hypocrite, because all I was doing was energy healing, I wasn't doing physical work. So everyone's like, how do you stay so fit? How do you, you look so vibrant? What are you doing? I would tell them energy healing, and they'd look at me like, and I just knew I was no longer in alignment. I feel that you need to own what you do and do it well. And the thing I was doing was energy healing. And that's what really, truly got me out of it. I think physical, I believe in integrating both physical and energetic practices. I believe where we are at in society, that's just what we need to do. And it's really crucial to, I totally am spacing out, and I'm spacing, all I'm thinking about is energy and how like all I did was energy healing, but I had to leave. Aha, here we go. Go brain, go brain. I had to disconnect from massage because I was also being codependent. I was taking away people's resource and ability to be their own healer. Now, I'm also a coach, and I do energy healing, and I do offer it, but I do it very sparingly. My coaching sessions are only a tidbit. I will only work with people for a short stint of time, and then you go on your way. And also the energy healing I offer, I only do the maximum of 3 times within their lifetime. And I know that energy healing needs to be done more frequently. And that's why I created courses, because I'm not attached, but also I can offer my assistance if I need it in a way that is empowering rather than disempowering. That's why I feel so blessed that I had a job that taught me all of this, and I had a desire to learn it so I can present it to you guys in a form that's readily available. I just want people to have a tool that will allow them to work through the stress, to feel confident in themselves, but also to tap into their body. Your body has so much it wants to say to you. We're just not taught how to tap into that. And we're actually taught to ignore it. And I believe we're coming to a place, kind of to wrap it back around, where that compounding energy can't be ignored anymore, because if we ignore the emotions in our body, it will come out in some way, shape, or form. Usually it's in physical pain, addictions, neuroses, anxiety, depression, mental illness, and also physical illnesses. And it's only going to keep getting louder until we address it. I do encourage to really absorb what I've said and just observe, where are these emotions in my life? Am I being affected by the collective? Do I respond differently when I'm around certain people? Do I get sucked into certain things? Is that a good thing or is that a bad thing? Does this person lift my energy, or do I feel, burdened and, heavy afterwards? Do I need to allocate my time elsewhere? What do I need to do? We need to learn to take ownership of our own selves. We need to feel empowered, because in taking back that ownership and taking back that empowered state that, yes, I can make this change, that's a part of the healing progress. That's a part of reinstating that energetic vitality in our cells. It frees us from these energetic shackles that I feel have been binding a lot of people for a long time. If you look at history, you'll understand why that is. And I believe for the first time ever, we are at a point in history where we can actually address it, we can actually face it, and we actually have the tools and the know-how to do so.